Hey church, for those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Josh Hargett and I have the privilege of being the pastor here at Cornerstone Church, formerly First Southern Baptist. This weekend, while we celebrate and remember all that God has done, our legacy, my hope and prayer is that we would allow this to propel us into the future. These stories and memories of God's faithfulness, of lives made new by the gospel, of relationships built and disciples made, these should propel and fuel us for the work that is still to be done. Whether you're still a member here or have since moved to Wisconsin or Thailand, the work of the church, proclaiming the gospel, making disciples who worship, grow, and go for the glory of God and the good of the people, this work is not done. So this weekend, enjoy seeing old friends. Have a good laugh or two about the boiler, leaking window wells, the youth trip back in 1979, or the choir performance at Easter of '93. Remember the baptisms, the decisions made for Jesus, the good times, the hard times, the churches planted, and the rich legacy of God working through this place. Let these things fuel the mission that is before us as we celebrate our legacy with hope for the future. I hope you'll enjoy the next several minutes watching this video as you hear from several former staff members about their memories of what the Lord has done in this place and how our legacy is being a church that makes disciples who worship, grow, and go.
I'm Bonnie Ralph Reed. I served this church for 14 years and I was involved in a lot of things, a lot of fun things, and a lot of hard work. And working with Brother Ted and other staff members was a real pleasure, and it was fun in most cases. And one of the things that I really enjoyed was having a wonderful choir, adult choir, that was so willing to tackle anything that I put in front of them. One of the most willing things that they helped me do was when I had some instrument players from the Colorado Springs Symphony. We had them to come and play for one of our cantatas, one of our musicals, and that was really a fun thing for me, a big thing for me, because I'd never done it like that before. And then later on we did it again, in a way, we didn't use as many people from the West Symphony, but we did use some. But that was a real blessing and a lot of fun for all of us. And I think a lot of people that are here today, some of them at least were in the choir, and was really a blessing for them too. But anyway, one of the things that I'd enjoyed most at First Southern was the camaraderie that we had, and I had, with the adults and with the parents of the youth and the children also. And so it was a fine thing, and Brother Ted and I were together for 14 years, and we never had a disagreement, and we always worked together.
Congratulations, Cornerstone Church, on 75 years of ministry in the Colorado Springs area. I'm Rick Anthony. I was the youth minister at First Southern Baptist Church from 1986 to 1991. I came there straight out of seminary and very little full-time youth ministry experience at the time, but the church embraced me and showed me kindness and had great patience and treated me with love. And I will never forget that. I could not have asked for a better youth group and youth parents and youth workers that I was privileged to have, in addition to the church members who were so encouraging to me all along the way. And I also frequently remember the senior adult group who had named themselves ADY. And it took me a while to find out that meant Ain't Dead Yet. And they are the ones that if I was sick, I would have plenty of soup. And that there were many a day when they would call me and tell me that they had made too much dessert and told me to come by the house to pick it up, which I was always very quick to do. And in that group, there were many who were charter members of First Southern. And some of those were cradle roll charter members, that they had been there their whole lives, and it was so fun to hear the stories from them about their experience at First Southern growing up and the building and just all kinds of things. I will never lose those memories of them. Since leaving First Southern, I did continue in youth ministry until about 1999 when I switched over to a senior role position at the church. But in that time of still being in youth ministry, I got to say I never had a group of young people, parents or workers or encouragement towards the ministry that I got to experience while I was at First Southern. Thanks to technology, I get to keep up with you. Each month I read your newsletter and find out what all is going on. Your recent partnership with other churches, I think, is genius. I think the name change is such a testimony to the physical community you are in and shows that you recognize that. And it's been fun to watch this church, even in later years, decide to take some very odd choices, at least it would appear that to some, in order to reach the community that God has given them. I greatly enjoy watching your pastors every now and then when I get time to watch your pastor's sermons. And I've got to tell you, I know you are in good hands, and I'm very excited about that. And one more thing I've got to share with you before I close out, and that is that one of my greatest gifts from being a part of First Southern Baptist Church, or now Cornerstone, was the music minister at the time, a guy named Bonnie Reed, along with his wife Joyce Ann. They showed me how to be a servant and what that meant in real life. And sadly, it took me quite a while to really swing around and catch on to that. But that was probably one of my greatest gifts that I received while I was there. I'm truly grateful for the gift of First Southern Baptist Church. I still treasure my memories and relationships from those days. And again, congratulations for 75 years. And I look forward to hearing about the next 75. Peace.
Hi everyone, Ty Valentine here. I had the distinct pleasure of being born into the church 57 years ago as a third generation Valentine, and then also having the honor of being hired as a staff member. But living a block away from the church really felt like the church was our home away from home. Actually, I probably knew more about the nooks and crannies of First Southern, or now Cornerstone Church, the building, more than I did our own house. As a child growing up, obviously one of the amazing memories I have is about Vacation Bible School, and I still remember the year that I memorized all the books of the Bible, and I still can recite them today. But one thing that I would always do nearly every Sunday morning is making my rounds at the church. When I first got there, I'd hit the nursery and go visit my grandmother Valentine in there working, which she did until nearly her last days on this earth. And then I'd head down to the senior adult Sunday school room. I always enjoyed visiting there and talking with the senior adults, the wonderful wise sages that helped lay the foundation for the church. And I would get to visit nearly all my two sets of grandparents, the Durrells and the Valentines down there. Getting to participate in various church plays and pageants with 3 generations of Valentines was a special memory as a child as well. As a youth or a young adult, obviously things like youth camps and midpoint on Wednesday nights, Sunday school were great memories for me. Really special memory for me, though, is getting saxophone lessons from Scotty Duncan while the choir was practicing. Scotty left this earth far too early, and he was really the first person who passed away in my life that I felt really close to. I was so thankful to be able to pass along his gift of worship music to our congregation moving forward. Obviously, the biggest highlight in memory that I have is discovering a personal relationship with Jesus Christ and getting baptized my sophomore year of high school. Playing on church league athletic teams as a youth and a young adult was also a blast. Had so much fun doing that because I didn't participate in sports in school, and so this is where I got my sports fix. Now, I was also a little bit ornery, and it was kind of an annual event where I would help plot out how we were going to prank the girls' cabin at youth camp. So that was an annual thing. And then as a young adult, getting to meet and marry my amazing wife, Kim. And here we are getting to celebrate 32 years of marriage this month in the place where it all started. So that's amazing as well. As a youth minister for the church, I was most proud of our youth group because they didn't just get involved in I'll call them the funsy activities, the big, typical big fun events, but they showed up every Tuesday night and we loaded up the bus or the van and headed out to do church visitations for those prospective youth who had attended our church as guests. And that was really important to them to reach other youth in the community. A really fun event that I remember as a youth minister is the all-night cruising event. One year in particular, we decided, as you all know or remember, probably I was a huge car guy along with the rest of my family, and we decided to deck out the big bus, with a hood scoop and side pipes and wheelie bars and flames down the side. And so we were quite the hit that year when we joined all the other churches in the community for cruising night. Another really special thing that was an honor for me is really helping lead all aspects of the church when it was just me and interim Pastor Grubbs holding down the fort after we had a huge turnover in pastoral staff. What an amazing experience that was, and a great leadership opportunity that really helped springboard my life and my career moving forward. So congratulations everyone on 75 years of reaching the Colorado Springs community and beyond for Christ, and happy to be a part of it. Thank you. Take care.
Hello, First Southern Baptist Church. It's been a long while. I was at First Southern Baptist Church back when 9/11 happened. I was only there for about a year, and it's because the church had a kind of a split. Many members left, and I ended up being the only staff member left at the church. Because of that, I figured, well, if they're going to need a new pastor, I'm not sure they can afford both of us, and maybe I need to move on. So my memories are sometimes confusing, but there was a good story that came out of it. My son, Chris, who at the time when we moved to Colorado Springs was going to college, but because of certain things, he lost his scholarship, and when we moved, he said, I have no place to live, I don't have a job, can I just go with you to Colorado Springs? Which we said, sure. While he was there, he met Lisa Delisle, who became his wife. And so if he had not come with us, he would not have met his future wife. Well, I'll show you how God worked. Years later, my wife needed a kidney transplant. Well, God had prepared Lisa in our family, and it turned out that Lisa wanted to give one of her kidneys to my wife, Karen. And not only was it a perfect match, the doctor said it was the best looking kidney they've ever seen, And to this day, it's been 7 years, Karen has had no problems with Lisa's kidney. And we just thank God every day that God let Chris meet Lisa. So that's probably the greatest memory I have of First Southern Baptist Church, is how God used that time, which I didn't understand at the time, why I was only there for a short while, but God knew. God knew that I needed to be there so my son would meet Lisa, so Lisa could save my wife's life. God bless you guys. I wish I could have been there, but other things were going on. Lisa works for a church in Oklahoma City, Life Church, and she's been there 20 years, and we're there celebrating that 20 years with her right now. God bless you all. Bye.
Happy birthday, First Southern. I have to say, you are looking pretty good for 75. I also have to say with how much fondness I remember our time together. It was, in all honesty, a high point in my life. I mean, literally 5,000 feet elevation. I haven't been higher since. But the one thing I remember is just, I remember how great your kids were. And, that's just a testament to the work of grace in your life and your obedience to Christ and how faithful you were to being conformed to His image. And now your kids have kids of their own, and the legacy you established continues. And I want to encourage you to remain faithful in building that legacy of faith and modeling Christ-likeness to the people of Colorado Springs. And don't ever lose sight of the fact that we are careening towards a destiny with the throne. And in that moment, nothing else is going to matter but what you have done for the kingdom and the work that you are involved with right now in that church as an outpost of heaven to the people of Colorado Springs. I remember one of the many things that I admire about First Southern is I remember how faithfully and how diligently and how willingly you just rolled up your sleeves and got to work being about the business of your father. And I just want to encourage you to remain faithful in that. Don't be slothful in zeal, but be fervent in spirit. Don't grow weary in well-doing. And may the next 75 years be even more fruitful. And may you leave a lasting legacy of faith for not just this lifetime, but for eternity to come, that you might faithfully represent Christ and store for yourself treasures in heaven to His glory and for His honor. Blessings to you. Much.
Hey Cornerstone family, or as many of you knew it when I was there First Southern, Stacy Ford here, and I've just been reflecting and thinking about my time there as the student pastor. And honestly, what comes to mind isn't just a single event, it's the people and the moments that were in between. I remember arriving and almost immediately put in a church van and said, hey, we're going to La Junta on a mission trip. And I remember thinking, what have I gotten myself into? There were so many youth camps and mission trips. Our mission trip to Reno, partnering with other churches and more than one church bus that decided to break down and make ministry optional that day. In fact, I think church breakdowns became a part of our ministry strategy. But what stays with me the most aren't just the events, it's the conversations. It's sitting with students and families in hard seasons and walking through pain and questions and real life. Just seeing God meet people there. Every church has seasons, challenges, stories that shape it. But one of the things I'll always appreciate about my time there is that ministry happened in the real stuff. not just on Sundays, but in vans, and on benches at camp, and hospital rooms, and difficult conversations, seeing God work in the ordinary, in the messy, sometimes exhausting moments. That's real discipleship. That's ministry. That's pointing people to Jesus. 75 years is a testimony to God's faithfulness through generations. So my encouragement to you is very simple. Keep being that kind of church. Keep loving people well. Keep making room for the messy, real-life ministry, because that's where some of the most meaningful kingdom work happens. Church doesn't make it 75 years just because everything is easy and perfect. In fact, it makes it because God is faithful to keep people saying yes to the work of ministry. So congratulations. And thank you for being part of a story that impacted my life. I'm so grateful. Thank you. You are loved. And remember, you're never alone.
Congratulations and hello, Cornerstone Church. We are so privileged to get to share this 75th anniversary with you guys. Joanne and I served back in the early 2000s to about 2010, and we have such fond memories of serving the Lord together with you, and many friendships that we still keep in touch with today. There's not a day that goes by that we don't think about Colorado. I'll always be grateful for that wonderful view that I had outside my office window every day of Pikes Peak. But more than that, the ministry that we got to do together and the worship as a church and the evangelism. I don't know if any of y'all remember us doing ice cream down at the local ice cream place just down the street from the church. I don't know if it's still there or not, but I remember all the free ice cream we gave away in the summers, and just great times of fellowship and love for one another. I know Joanne has something that she wants to say to you on this special anniversary.
Hi everyone, so thankful that we have the wonderful memories that we were able to share for so many years. Think about you guys every day. We love you and we're so thankful for you.
Just remember, keep serving God, allowing your light to shine brightly, for there's a community in your midst that desperately needs Jesus.
Hi, Cornerstone. Dwayne and Leslie Proctor here. Remember us? Greetings from Wichita, Kansas and Emmanuel Baptist Church. We sure wish we could be there this weekend as you guys commemorate 75 years of ministry.
And we love your anniversary slogan, celebrating our legacy, looking ahead with hope. We want to honor you for your faithfulness in serving Christ and the gospel ministry there in Colorado Springs. The work you're doing now is fresh, it's new, it's exciting, but it's been made possible in part by the foundation laid by those that have gone before. From Pastor Bryant in the very beginning, to Pastor Badre, who was there when we first came, to Pastor Tommy, whom we had the privilege and honor to study under and serve with for close to 16 years, to now, Pastor Hargett.
It's not just the leadership, though, that built that legacy, which is Cornerstone. It's also the sacrifices and the prayers and the dedication of the people that God placed there. When we first came to First Southern, we were greeted by Jean and Melba O'Neill. I always wanted to be Melba when I grew up. She was so beautiful, and that couple mentored and discipled so many younger couples and had such an impact on the church and the community. And so many others, and you all know who you are, welcomed us and included us in sweet fellowship. And we were honored to serve and worship with you all. And so many have contributed to making Cornerstone what it is today.
We're so very grateful to the Lord for allowing us to worship and serve at First Southern for the time that He had us there. And we look forward with excitement to seeing God continue to use Cornerstone in His work in bringing people to Christ and fulfilling the Great Commission by going, making disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that Christ commands. And remember, Christ will be with you always, even to the end of the age.
And so we want to close with these words from Paul to the Thessalonians. We give thanks to God always for you all, making mention of you in our prayers, remembering without ceasing your work of faith and the labor of love and patience of hope in our Lord Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen.
God bless.
Bye.
I would like to share with you some of the memories that Lynette and I had as we served at First Southern Baptist, Colorado Springs. It was such a great blessing. Lyles Schaller, in his book, Hints to a Parish Preacher, talks about ministries being like chapters in a pastor's life. And First Southern Baptist Church was one of those great chapters that I have in my life. And it was great how God led us, God took care of us, God brought us to First Southern Baptist Church, Colorado Springs. The memories that I have are mainly of the people that were loving and people that were caring, people that saw not only to our needs and to meet our needs, but also to meet the needs of others. And those are some of the things that stood out in my life. But then I think about all of the different people. First of all, those that were on the church staff that ministered to us. And think about Beverly and meeting Beverly and Beverly being more than just a church secretary. She was truly an administrative assistant. She understood the church, she knew the history of the church, and when we first moved there, she was just tremendous in helping us to navigate, all of the different protocols as we came into a new church situation. Think about the deacons and the deacons who served, and they were there by my side. They understood what it meant to serve as a deacon, that a deacon body was an administrative body, but it was men with servants' hearts, and they wanted to serve and support their pastor. I think about the staff that we had, Tom and Sharon, just tremendous in working with the youth. And not only that, so many times Tom would say, Pastor, whatever I can do, you just let me know. I'm here for you. And he was tremendous in helping and reaching youth where they are. And Sharon was just tremendous as a helpmate. And both of them, just tremendous assets to the church and just a great encouragement for us. And then I think about all of those who just served in different capacities within the church. That's what made the church who it was. So many volunteers, whether it had to do with the building, whether it had to do with serving for whenever we were serving families for funeral services. They always stepped up, because the church had a DNA, had a desire to minister in whatever way the church could minister. And that was something that was very, very valuable in my life as a pastor, and built those memories, whether it was serving on mission trips and so many different mission trips that God allowed us to reach people in other places as well as in Colorado Springs. And then the different ministries that we had within the church. One of my greatest memories was that of the We Care ministries, where we took cookies and delivered those to the neighborhood. And people responded. Some came and joined the church, but there were others who sent notes. And I remember one note of a lady saying, Pastor, we've been here for a year and we didn't realize anyone cared for us. And they thanked us for bringing the cookies and just letting them know that we care. I think about the ARC ministry and the acts of random kindness and being able to go into people's homes and help them with whatever they needed. One of the great memories I have is building a wheelchair ramp. And we built that wheelchair ramp so that a young man who was not able to enter his home, and just so many things, but it involved the people who loved and people who cared and people who wanted to make a difference for God in our church as well as in our community. And then I think about some of the difficult times. COVID was probably one of the most difficult things that we faced as a church, and trying to navigate through all of the rules that were laid down regarding COVID. And think about those like Brock and all of the team of the media team that had everything ready to go since we'd already been streaming online to make it easy for people to. Now First Southern Baptist has changed its name to Cornerstone. And Josh is doing a tremendous job. And it's great to look and see how God is working and still moving within the church and the blessings that God has for the church in the future. And as we think about different chapters, the church has started a new chapter, and a chapter in which God will be glorified, Jesus will be shared and uplifted throughout the community. And I just pray God would continue to bless the church as the church reaches out and shares the love of Christ with those all around. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless Cornerstone Church.
Wow, those are some tremendous memories of what God has done. Our goal this weekend is to indeed celebrate all the Lord has done, to remember how He has used this place, our legacy, all while looking towards the future with hope and anticipation of what He's going to do here in the future. So you might ask, what is God doing now? And that would be an awesome question. God is blessing in ways that can only be explained as Him showing up. Families joining the church, lives being made new by the gospel, ministry, discipleship. God is doing things in this place that only He can do. A couple of highlights would include a brand new name and direction for the future. For several years, even before I became the pastor here, there were conversations about the name of the church. And on October the 5th of 2025, the church made the decision to become Cornerstone Church. This decision was not made lightly or flippantly, but after months of discussion and prayer. Our goal in doing this was to remove any hindrance from proclaiming the gospel to our community and to again become relevant to a city that desperately needs Jesus. At one time, we were considered kind of the cornerstone of this community, and we believe God wants us to be just that again. With an eye on celebrating our legacy and building upon it, our rebrand was launched in January of 2026 with a completion taking place later this summer. As one church member said, we've always had a front door to the church, it's just a bit wider now. A second highlight has been the launch of Cornerstone Espanol and the goal of being one church in 2 languages. Our city has a growing Spanish-speaking population, and several years ago we came to the realization that in our part of town there was no real push to reach them with the gospel. For years, we had hosted a small Spanish-speaking congregation in our building, and in April of 2022 we began an effort to bring in a new pastor for them and see what the Lord would do. But it wasn't His timing, and looking back at it now, we weren't even ready for it. By March of 2023, it was clear that God was saying not yet. So we continued to pray that God would use us to reach our city, both English and Spanish speakers. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to us, across town, there was a Spanish-speaking church planner working hard to reach Spanish speakers in our city. I'd like to introduce you to Jonathan Ferre, pastor of Cornerstone Espanol.
Hello and happy anniversary. My name is Jonathan Ferre. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, and 11 years ago, the Lord brought my family and me to Colorado Springs to reach the Spanish-speaking community with the gospel. For the past 10 years, we have served through Iglesia Gracia y Verdad doing this, and the Lord did beautiful things through that ministry. But over time, we began to ask whether we could reach more people and serve families more effectively by becoming part of an English-speaking church family as well, especially for our children and youth so they could grow in their faith both in Spanish and in English and feel fully connected with one church body. And so last Easter, our church joined Cornerstone to become one church in 2 languages. And so far, it's been a tremendous blessing. We feel deeply privileged to become part of a church with such a rich legacy, and we look forward to helping that legacy reach even farther as we continue to serve and reach the Hispanic community in our city.
So, with the Lord's blessing and after years of prayer on Easter Sunday 2026, as Jonathan mentioned, we launched Cornerstone Espanol and officially became one church in 2 languages. It hasn't been without its share of chaos, but with God's guidance, we're navigating cultural divides and language barriers to see people who love each other, that want to see our city transformed by Jesus and are unified around the gospel. As former church members, current members, former staff, current staff, I'd ask one thing of all of you. Pray that God would continue to guide, direct, bless, and use this place for the good of the city and for His glory for the next 75 years as we strive to be a church that glorifies God by making disciples who worship, grow, and